this busy? Is this? Am I taking crazy pills? We just wrapped a trip around the entire park, every land, and every attraction. This is happening. It's slow. Even Disney agrees. This is our State of Disneyland report. That's the same here at Town Square on this Friday afternoon. It's actually about 2:30. Late start for Fresh Bake today. It took us forever to do our construction footage this morning. And as it turns out, this show is being brought to you by my brand new iMac, or I should say iPhone Max, 15 Max. Well, I'll get this out. Long story short, I lost my Pocket 3. It's in the mail. I've got a new one on the way. It's en route, but I won't have it for another few days. It's not the kind of camera that you could just pick up at the store. So I went ahead and upgraded my existing phone to this iPhone Max 15, and that's what we're shooting on today. We're going a little bit old school. This is how I used to shoot things back in the day on my Android. We're on a gimbal. Hopefully the picture's coming through okay. But this is our State of Disneyland report. We're about ready to walk through the park and update you guys on what's happening around the park. I'm really looking forward to this one, as I often say, but this one is particular because of the lead up in the way that the park has been behaving in the last month or two. And I feel like today is not going to be much different, although the scene that we're going to find today is going to be different than the one we found 2 weeks ago, if only because of the day that we're shooting and the conditions we're shooting under. With that, we'll take our ceremonial trip down these steps, out into Town Square, do a vibe check. Actually, I don't think I can get out there directly. We're getting ready for that 3:30 parade. And I can't believe that I am shooting on a phone again and on a gimbal again. This is not what I was expecting to be doing today. On an Osmo 4, no less. Not even the most modern tech, but I'm using years old tech to shoot this video. Modern phone, but my gimbal, it's a little dated. Actually, it's going to be difficult to do a vibe check today because the vibe is completely different now because we're getting ready for that 3:30 parade. I can't even get into the street. Oh my. Okay. Not a 3:30 parade, a 3 o'clock parade. We couldn't beat the parade up the street. So that's your vibe right now, Fresh Baked, is magic is happening on Main Street right now. I guess that's our cue to get back to the Main Street station and check out the reservation counter, check into accessibility here in the parks. Now, I've only got a minute to do this, this check on the reservation counter because the Disneyland band's coming. What's this? We had the same thing 2 weeks ago, and then we got a parade coming, so we got to get back out into the park. Looks good though. Let's take a look at the single-day ticket calendar first. Much better than the calendar that we saw 2 weeks ago when we were looking at. Things looked a little bit booked up, and I was very curious. I was very confused, very befuddled by how the calendar was reacting compared to what the park looked like. And hopefully you guys can hear me once more. We're competing with the Disneyland band. Hey, hi, how are you? But things look pretty good, actually, much better on this calendar. You can buy a ticket right now for today. There's actually no sold out dates whatsoever. Even today, you can walk in and buy a ticket if you so choose. That's the way it should be, always. For single day and multi-day ticket purchasers, there should never be a sold out day unless the park is literally sold out. But we know by our experience that it hasn't been that case ever since the parks have reopened. So there should always be an opportunity for single day ticket holders to get a ticket. Good news for those guys. Let's take a look at the Magic Key calendar, the Inspire Key. Also, better than we saw 2 weeks ago. It's still not great, still a lot of sold out dates, for Magic Keys because there's a lot of competition, as we discussed last time. There's a lot more competition for those reservation slots because they're still selling more Magic Keys. That is not ended. As a matter of fact, I have a friend who's told me that he can kind of estimate that Disney is spending a ton of money right now trying to sell Magic Keys. They have reversed course entirely. They are fully invested in selling Magic Keys right now to the point where they are advertising them on a regular basis on social media. They are actively trying to get you to buy a Magic Key. My only concern, same as 2 weeks ago, was whether or not it's possible to do that while also not increasing the amount of reservation slots available for Magic Keys, right? You have to increase capacity in order to account for new people who are coming in. But having said that, things look today about like they have in recent history. Those dates sold out at the end of May, the 24th, that weekend. That's actually fantastic. So you're gonna see a lot of competition for that weekend, all those days, 24th, 25th, 26th, all those days. As a matter of fact, I'd even go ahead and book the 23rd. It's possible they might do a soft opening that day. We don't talk about Bruno though. But I'm actually kind of surprised at how optimistic the calendar looks. I'm still not happy with it, still not happy with the reservation system, but I'm kind of surprised that it doesn't look worse than it does right now. That's my cue to get off these steps, get back down Main Street, and let's get into this show proper. Well, there you go, guys. There goes Mickey. We just met him a little bit ago when we were trying to do our vibe check before the reservation calendar. And this is obviously going to change the dynamic, at least initially, of our trip through Adventureland. Everybody's out there on Main Street trying to check that show. I'm going to be willing to bet we're going to find smaller-ish crowds than usual here in Adventureland, on Indiana Jones, on the Jungle Cruise. What do you think? It's not like we haven't done this a few times before and we can't predict what's going to happen. Here is Adventureland. Certainly, this is busier than we saw 2 weeks ago. Certainly, we're getting a different kind of crowd than we got 2 weeks ago. And it's not even time yet for the discounted ticket. We could be seeing some of the SoCal discount tickets here today. That's been a thing going on for a little while. Yeah, it's all right here. It's nice. Let's check Jungle Cruise. There is a queue popping out of the lower, when you walk through the threshold, there's a queue popping out here. You don't generally like to see that, but the posted wait time is 15 minutes, and obviously we can see that that's because there's nobody up there. No guests upstairs at all in either section up top. 15 minutes for Jungle Cruise. And that does reconcile with what we've seen so far with the crowds, in this land as we walk through here. Although we kind of expected that. As I was just saying, we walked in here, there's a parade happening. That's going to pull a few guests. They're probably going to stay in Indiana Jones, at least that's the inference there, because that's got a posted wait time of 55 minutes. We were here 2 weeks ago. The wait was 35. Can you believe that? Can you imagine in the middle of the day? Can you imagine walking up to Indiana Jones and seeing a 35-minute queue? Almost too good to be true, but we're gonna go check in and see what this queue looks like back here and pick up some of that Indiana Jones vibe while we're at it, which is pretty great if you don't mind my saying. Yeah, certainly more than we saw before. But you know what? For a 55-minute queue, I think I would still get in this queue. And mainly because I'm not seeing anything happening back there in Lightning Lane. I don't see anybody. It's empty. Lightning Lane is empty. Now watch the bodies move in that queue as we kind of float above a little bit here. Get a little Do you see the constant movement? Okay. They're not posted, they're moving, which is good. That's what you want to see when you get into any queue. Especially a queue with Lightning Lane on it, like this one has. You especially want to see that with Lightning Lane. What you don't want to see is people just kind of posted, resting, taking it easy, leaning up against things. That's a common thing that we talk about in these videos, and I'll go ahead and repeat that until the end of time. As long as you're seeing that kind of movement, you're feeling pretty good. That's why I would say I would get in this 55-minute queue. The thing about Indy is the competition that you're having is just out here. Everything that happens inside the building is the same, no matter when you go, no matter how busy it is, no matter if it's morning or late or how busy Lightning Lane is. What happens once you cross that threshold, once you get into the temple, you're going to have pretty much the same experience every single time. I mean, there's going to be degrees of busyness, but you're no longer have to worry about Lightning Lane because they mix at the temple entrance. They mix right here. So really all you're concerned about is getting through those guests out here in the extended outdoor queue. So that looks good. I like that.
I was college.
So that's Jungle Cruise and Indiana Jones, promising so far, but evidence that the previous episode was more of an outlier, perhaps, than what is the norm. So it had to be. I mean, that was just ridiculous what we were seeing. But oh my gosh, okay. Just as I'm saying that, what do we encounter? But another situation. Okay, this could be the parade. I got to keep reminding myself of that. Another situation here where there's nobody out here on the bridge for Pirates of the Caribbean. Is it really that big a deal? Do they pull that many guests? I guess they do. It truly is a hack. Hitting the park while the parade is happening. You've got about 35, 45 minutes to really take advantage of things. I guess that's maybe one or two rides, but certainly Pirates is one of those attractions that you get a nice discount while they're doing the parade. It's posted at 25, no chance it's anything near that. Even with the Lightning Lane influence, which right now, I'm not seeing anybody get in that queue. But that 25-minute queue that we're seeing, or 25-minute posted wait time that we're seeing right there, is not even that. It's about 10 minutes from the threshold here, and that's the queue right there. That's the rest of the standby queue right there. So you're maybe 15 minutes. And I think I mentioned earlier, talking about that $50 ticket, the kids ticket, that's back. That's back up for sale starting on May 29th, which is a couple weeks from now, and that period is going to be from June into August. It's going to affect things here a little bit, and I feel like it's a validation of sorts, in terms of what we've been observing in the previous month or so about how light things have been going here at Disneyland. They're not selling tickets at the rate that they would like to. They're not getting, Magic Keys here into the park at the rate they'd like to, in spite of the fact that they don't let us. We can't get reservations sometimes. But I do think it's a validation of that observation. Some are questioning. They're like, "No, man, it's fine. It's busy as heck. What are you talking about?" No, Disney doesn't think so. Disney doesn't think so. This isn't what they want, and they're trying to adjust for that by selling that $50 in a period in June where they have, by all my recollections, have never done it before. They have never sold a discounted ticket for June and July for summer. That right there, not so much the fact that they're selling a $50 ticket for kids or an $83 ticket for adults, a 3-day ticket that is, but the fact that they're doing it in the summer, the prime time, when all the kids are out of school and they're ready to have this park be a little bit bonkers. And we just did a video, a getting ready for June video, a June planning guide. And in that video, I said, it used to be the case that everybody just assumed June is one of those months where the park is packed completely, that it's super busy. It's one of the busiest times of the year. That has not been the case the past couple of years. And I was going to say, I said in that video, I'm not expecting it to be very busy. I have to retract that now, thank you very much, Disney, because now they're selling that $50 ticket again and the $83 ticket for adults. June could be back on the map. We didn't get to do a proper vibe check on Main Street, so let's vibe out now on this Mark Twain on the Rivers of America. That right there, that's New Orleans Square, feeling the effects, not just of the 3 o'clock parade happening right now, which by the way should be over. Guests are probably filtering back into the parks right now. Feeling the effects of Haunted Mansion, Splash Mountain, and Critter Country all being closed. There is a whole stretch right now that we're about to walk that is unavailable to guests, and Disney must be feeling the pressure. They must be feeling that. They gotta be desperate to get something happening back here at New Orleans Square, and fast. Let's take that walk. We were here early this morning shooting all morning around New Orleans Square, Haunted Mansion, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, getting the latest. Hope you guys watch our construction reports on those. And it feels like there is an acceleration. They are trying to, it looks like, at least, move things along at a quicker pace. Pardon me. But I mean, is it possible to even, can they get quicker? What is quick enough? I don't even know. Like now, we need this now. But the progress does seem to be going better than it was before, especially around the mountain. Hard to say about Haunted Mansion. Hard to say how far along they are on the other side of these walls. If you were to peek over there, you'd still see nothing but dirt and trenches and nothing being built. But at least they don't have to build, an actual roller coaster or, a ride or anything, but they just have to plant grass or fake grass even. And put up a couple concrete structures here and there, and hopefully that's it. Hopefully they're far enough along on the elevator and all that infrastructure stuff below grade. Hey guys, how are you? That they can get the next phase done quickly. But I mean, so far as I've been talking and making this stretch, nothing is open. Everything that we're seeing, everything that our eyes touch right now is closed, and it's only going to get worse. What? And that, look at, I mean, it's quiet. It's just the only people that are making this walk with me right now are people on their way to Galaxy's Edge, I guess, or to get a pickle. They get a pickle right here, maybe. Certainly, they're not going to the canoes. Am I right? There it is. Now, since our last State of Disneyland report, that walkway was open. We were able to go down there last time. It's been closed now for a little over a week. And that's it, man. Just Lewis and a bunch of walls. At least they took the scaffolding off Tiana's tower, the water tower, so you could see. I mean, that looks great, doesn't it? Don't you think? Check our construction report if you haven't already for a look at all this. But right here in your field of view is considerably less scaffolding than we've ever seen before. So there are parts of this attraction that are finished. There's something you'd like to see. That's a couple rotations worth of guests waiting to go on the Davy Crockett canoes with a canoe pulling in right now. I love this attraction. Not that I like to go on it myself personally, but I just love the fact that it exists. It's a thing that exists at Disneyland.
Nah, you're good. Later, y'all.
You gonna join us?
What's that?
You wanna join us?
I wish, but I've got to get moving again. It's been a minute since I've been on the canoes.
Could be now.
No, actually, you got about a 20-minute wait there, I think. The canoes do love to recruit new guests, and that's they're the hardest working bunch, I swear. Not only do they do all that rowing, but they're always out there barking like, hi, like they're at a carnival or something. They're always trying to get new folks into that queue and into those canoes. God bless the Davy Crockett Canoe cast members. But I wasn't kidding. I do have a show to do. I have to keep moving. I'm actually way behind schedule today because it took me I went on 3 trips around the park today on the Disneyland Railroad trying to catch footage of Tiana's Bayou Adventure from the train. And I screwed up one of them. There's a finger. My finger was in the shot looking back at the entrance to Splash Mountain. I left it in there. It's still in there. 3 trips around. By the way, I didn't even mention Rise of the Resistance, Section 4, completely empty. It feels very dead back here, almost to the point where I think it is possibly closed. I don't see any movement back there in the queue. It's got to be closed. Nothing here. No guests whatsoever, not even in Section 1. Not a lot of loitering though. Less than usual loitering for an attraction that, for it being closed. But yeah, the wakeboard is off. Caster here there's a rope up, yeah, so definitely not. I can't do it. What's a State of Disneyland report without a go, no go observation for Rise of the Resistance? This is a good point to talk about the fact that, in spite of the fact that we've got Splash Mountain happening and Haunted Mansion, the maintenance has been pretty good. I'm not seeing as frequent shutdowns for attractions these days. I've alluded to that recently, but that's an observation that I want. In spite of that's actually what reminded me the fact that we've seen Rise down, because when's the last time that we've walked by Rise and it was closed? It doesn't happen very often. I did a 30-ride trip through Rise of the Resistance. I went on 30 times in like 30 days. 2 times. 2 times did it break down while I was in the queue. Was that right? 2 or maybe 3? I want to say 2, but it might have been 3. That's definitely going to change the dynamic back here in Galaxy's Edge as well. It'll probably send more guests to Smugglers Run, so that might have a higher wait time than we would normally expect. In fact, that's where we're heading. We're going to go stop off at Docking Bay 7, pull up a chair, take a look at the tip board, see what wait times look like around the park. It is now just about 4 o'clock as we shoot this. I can't look at my phone right now because I'm shooting on it, so I don't know exactly what the time is. No, I want to say 3:45. That's what I'm saying. I want to say 3:45. As a matter of fact, 3:50. It's 3:50. So we should be out of our parade effect right now. The parade is over. It was a 3 o'clock parade, not a 3:30. So crowds should start streaming in. Although I will say that while crowds are getting into the queues right now, the tip board may not reflect that increase yet. And for that reason, I'm just going to keep walking. I'm not going to look at the tip board yet because it would just be incorrect to do so at that point. So we're just going to keep on going to Millennium Falcon. There's Vi. Vi Maratti's out and about. She's taking a chance. Mai's taking a chance being out here in the public like that. She's wanted by the First Order. It's just to keep a low profile. But I was right about Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run. I can say that at least. I can see right now a standby wait time of 55 minutes. So certainly the guests that are coming down here without looking at the tip board, hoping to ride rise, are coming down this way to take their chances on Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run. Again, not at all like what we found 2 weeks ago. Oh, Ray and Chewie are out. That's nice. There's Ray. Chewie's hiding out. Oh no. Keeping a low profile, Chewie's. How can Chewie hide from anything is a question. This actually feels kind of busy right here, I have to say, especially for Galaxy's Edge. Did he just say that's dope? Or that's a no? I think he said that's a no.
I'm sorry, sir. Yes. How original.
I was actually just wondering, what is Kylo's like standard resting position on people trying to take selfies? Does he take selfies? Does Kylo take selfies? I've never tried. I've tried to like get a gorilla shot. I'll run in front of him and grab a selfie, but it's not like he's participating in it. And I guess I got my answer. He's like, nah, Kylo doesn't do selfies, not on purpose anyway. Let's go to Fantasyland. Well. Still kind of chilling here. Look at it. It is now definitely 4 o'clock at least. There should be crowds here. I mean, as I mentioned, you know, in terms of the parade effect, people are probably in the queues right now, but the wait times are not going to reflect on the tip board yet. But the street should reflect it. The streets of Fantasyland should reflect crowds being back in the park again. Pinocchio is, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes. Right there, you can see the back of the queue right there. But this is the part that has my attention right now. It's been pretty consistent now. This is our fourth straight State of Disney report where we're seeing crowds like this. It's not going to last though, because they do have that discount ticket coming up and they've been selling more Magic Keys. Snow White, just pretty standard there. It says 20. I mean, it might be that, maybe 15 or 20. It's going to go quick. Empty space once more in front of Peter Pan. And now we're even later on in the afternoon than I normally shoot these. You know, 2 weeks ago, this would have been about maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock. It's now 4. It's a little fuller, but still light. That is still light. What's the wait time? 30 minutes. Imagine seeing that. 30 minutes. And that's a go. You don't have to worry about Lightning Lane. If you see 30 and it's posted 30, it is 30, generally speaking. At Peter Pan or basically any of these dark rides back here. The board's gonna tell mostly the truth. Not a wide range of wait times exist at Fantasyland, especially the dark rides. Toad's looking pretty standard there, about 15, 20 minutes. All right, you know, let me ask you actually, this scene that you're seeing right here, that you're seeing before you, in spite of the fact that what I was just saying, does this look busy to you? Do you count this as busy? Sorry, I had to take a couple of photos there, but let's just walk around a bit and tell me what you think. You don't have to agree with me. You can say this looks busy and I don't want to be here. What do you think? It's something that I alluded to in the last State of Disneyland report about gauging crowd density. There are nuances to that and stuff that doesn't feel, you know, isn't apparent on, you know, casual inspection. But this is light. In spite of what you know, because I know that through the lens it probably looked a little denser than it was. But this is light. It is normally, on a standard day, more busy than that, even than what you just saw. Looks like Dumbo's doing some work at least.
All right,
Remember when we came through it before? This is where my shock was really hitting its peak. This whole queue back here was empty. They got that figured out a little bit here, but this is still not as busy as it could be as well. You know, a couple of empty switchbacks there. And it's not dense. It's not a dense queue. It's funny how the busier that a queue gets, the more people you put in the queue, the closer they get together, the more they want to compact. But you know, if the queue is generally speaking, you know, not a bad queue to be in, people are a little more casual about personal space. They tend not to close up all of that available space. I don't know why Disney makes you do that. You know what I mean? Please use all available space. You hear the cast members say that a lot. I mean, I understand why, theoretically, because they don't want the back of the queue to stick out into the walkway. But you know what? I mean, come on, man. I really don't want to know how much change the guy in front of me has in his pocket.
That's so.
Mad Tea Party, not too bad either. That's about 2 rotations. It's a pretty nice day, you guys. All in all, this is a pretty nice day. A nice day to be here. Yeah, that's 2 rotations. Oh, I gotta go check Alice in Wonderland, don't I? Wait, that can't be right. No, they must have closed this one too. When I was walking by, Toad's was closed, and on our way to Mad Tea Party, and now this has to be closed. Yeah, it's definitely closed. Okay. So Alice and Toad's closed just like that. almost immediately in a 10-minute stretch. That's gonna send some guests elsewhere. Obviously, we have 2 dark rides down in Fantasyland. Storybook Land is gonna pick up some of that traffic, as will Mad Tea Party. I don't want to get into that Storybook Land queue. Not right now. That does not look attractive to me. With that, I think now is a good time to pull over here at the Small World Mall, take a seat somewhere in the shade, and look at that tip board finally. All right, here we go. Alice in Wonderland, as we just observed, is closed. Astro Orbiter, 15 minutes, pretty standard. Autopia, 25 with a return time in 30 minutes. By the way, as we record this, hopefully you can see it is 4:12 now in the afternoon. Plenty of time for people to get out of the parade route and into a queue. Big Thunder, 45 minutes and a return time of an hour plus, kind of standard. Buzz, 30, return time of now. That is maybe below average, below standard, maybe. Casey Jr., 10 minutes. I don't believe you. We just walked by that queue and they're still running just the one train. And it was not a 10-minute queue. That queue was down the steps towards Dumbo. So you're looking at probably 20 or 30 perhaps. Gadget's Coaster, we're gonna see in a little bit, is 20 minutes. Dumbo is 25, and that's about what we saw when we walked by before. Finding Nemo, 25 minutes. Hyperspace Mountain is closed. Hopefully it'll be open by the time we get there and see what that's looking like. But a return time in almost 5 hours. Indiana Jones Adventure holding at 55 minutes. That's what it was when we walked by earlier, although I thought that was a pleasant enough queue to be in. 9:40 is the return time, 5 hours. So that does mean that there are, be wary, be selective about what queue you get into at this point on Indiana Jones, because what that tells me, when you see 5 hours, separating the current time to when the next available Genie Plus reservation, a 5-hour wait, suggests that there's still a lot of people who haven't used their Genie Plus Lightning Lane for that attraction yet. They have yet to show up, so they're going to keep filling that queue up, that Lightning Lane queue, until 9:40 at least. Small World, I'm looking at you right now. It says 5 minutes. Hopefully that song isn't killing my copyright status right now. Jungle Cruise is closed. Carousel, 5 minutes. Mad Tea Party, 10 minutes. That's about what we saw. Matterhorn, there you go. Now that's a busy day. 75 minutes. 75 minutes, but a return time of now. Interesting. You know what that is? That is one of those queues that people got into post parade. For whatever reason, it has been my observation that the Matterhorn is one of the most popular attractions to hit after the parade. That's one of those attractions that people gravitate to after a parade, both standby and Lightning Lane guests. Runaway Railway is at 45. That is now, oh my gosh, when's the last time, have we ever seen that, where the return time for Genie Plus, where it has the longest wait, 6 hours, longer than Space Mountain, longer than Indiana Jones. Runaway Railway is now king of the Lightning Lane Hill. Now you really got to be selective about what queues you get into at Runaway Railway. Smugglers Run is down to 45. It was 55. Return time in an hour. Toads is closed. Peter Pan at 30. We just saw that. Pinocchio 10. Pirates 25. That's where we left it. Return time a half an hour. Roger Rabbit's 65 minutes. Maron. And that's an hour and a half return time. Snow White is 20. Star Tours 40. Return time of now. Rise is still closed. Storybook Land 30. That's about what we saw when we walked by. And take care. Well, while we were filming that tip board, we observed a 5-minute standby wait time for Small World. And then while we were shooting the B-roll behind that tip board, we saw quite a bit of people collect into this queue and then get processed quickly. they were able to do that because they ran the queue all the way down there. They filled in 2 switchbacks back there. It's still posted at 5 minutes. That is incredibly not the case now. And this is, again, an observation that I make frequently about how slow to react the Genie Plus is, or the tip board and cast members, etc. It's not that their fault. They're just doing as they're told, but it's very slow to react. That's not a 5-minute queue. That's probably 15. Could even be 20 if you get a little bit of lightning lane in there. Not that that's bad. I still wouldn't mind waiting in this queue, but it's just an example of how you have to kind of use your own abilities of observation to go along with the tip board. If you get nothing else from watching this show, it's that just don't blindly follow the tip board. You have to apply some kind of discretion. I mean, you're still going to have a wonderful time, but if you're trying to save time, work at it a little bit. That's why you watch Fresh Baked, though. I keep saying that. I'll do that work for you. Just watch this show, and you'll figure it out. Let's go to Toontown. Well, I guess we could say that Toontown is not feeling any of those effects. As busy as ever. No let up here at Toontown since opening day. It's been pretty steady. Let's go check out Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. In fact, if anything, this attraction has gotten more popular. As we just evidenced on that tip board. The new king of Lightning Lane, 10 or 6 hours, 10:15. It's posted at 45 right now, though. This is actually a bargain, I think, because right here, this is where 45 would be. If you were to get in that queue, you should expect to wait 45 minutes at that door. So every step you take is a little less time that you're going to have to spend. It's kind of surprising, actually. Oh my, still going. It's busy as heck out there, but it's kind of nice in here. How far are we going to get? All the way into the first prop room at least. Wow. 45 is more like 25. There we go. The back of the queue, there it is right here. That's the back. And I mean, there's not much happening. And as usually is the case, Lightning Lane is quiet as well. There's going to be a few guests coming by here right now. It's actually the first time I've ever looked at the actual scanning area. If you turn around right here, you can see where the guests scan in. Hi guys, how are you? Hi. So there is some guests coming in, but probably not enough to put a huge dent in that standby queue. If it gets worse, then maybe, but right now this is kind of a delight. A go at Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Well, you see that? You see a 45 in the back of that queue back there? That's pretty nice. Makes me wonder why that is. Makes me wonder. Let's see if there's any difference over here at Roger Rabbit. It is historically, Roger Rabbit has had the longer standby wait time than Runaway Railway has since opening, although that's starting to change a little bit. It's got a very long queue, so it's difficult to see anything from out here. We have to go in just like we did at Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway. But it posted at 40. It was, yes, I want to say 65 or was it 55? I can't remember. But 40's a pretty intriguing wait time. Just gonna parse our way through.
This is a respectable club. So if you ain't got the dough, blow.
Normally we see the back of the queue when we turn this corner up here. And Yeah, exactly, right here. This is almost always where we find the back. So this is about 40. That's a pretty accurate time, actually. It all depends on right here. That's your Lightning Lane queue right there, which is pretty light. That's only 4 guests in there right now. So as long as that stays the case, that 40 could hold up. But I'm here to tell you that I have had more than one occasion when I've been stuck in that Roger Rabbit queue, pretty much right where they are now, and I thought that that's where I was going to spend the rest of my days, that I thought I was going to die in that queue because it was going nowhere forever. It was, I want to say I saw a queue once posted at 30. We got in the queue and we were in there for 75, 80 minutes. This though was closer to when the land reopened, and so there was a lot of energy there. A lot of Lightning Lane was happening at that time. Less so today, but still this is a very popular Lightning Lane attraction, although I must remind myself that's not what we saw today. The script is getting flipped a little bit. It was just an hour or so on that return time for Roger Rabbit, but it was Runaway Railway that was 6 hours from now. I've walked this path a couple of different times already while shooting this, maybe 3 or 4 times, and this is the lightest that we've seen clearly since we got here. So even Toontown is even maybe showing a little signs of let up now. I guess it's all just a question of timing, being here at the right moment, catching it at the right time. Minnie's house looks about the same as it always does, 30 minutes with the queue out here into the street. Mickey's house showing 45 minutes. No way of knowing if that's true or not without getting into the house. There's a very deep queue, so I won't be going in there today. I'll take your word for it. That's not exactly a quick meet and greet, Minnie's. It does not go quick though. And then we've got Gadget's Coaster, which has been a virtual walk-on the last couple times we've come through here. Right now it says 30 minutes. We were seeing the queue way up there where the U-turn is, but that is not the case today. As I take a peek over the fence, back of the queue is right about. Yeah, they're kind of slowing down right there. That's about the back of the queue, which is still not bad. I would take 30 minutes for Gadgets. All in all, a good day for Toontown. Certainly better than days that we've seen in the past. All in all, this is a pleasant experience, I have to say, relatively speaking, at least. But even still, I mean, this compares to Fantasyland right now. The crowds that I'm feeling right now and the wait times that we're seeing, although the wait times are a little bit more for the dark rides, but just in terms of the density of crowds, because there's similar choke points here as there are at Fantasyland. That's not bad. Just had one of those I'm at Disneyland moments.
What are you talking about?
Those were my favorite. Gonna go to Fantasyland 3, Fantasyland C, I don't know. I feel like the Matterhorn is its own place. It doesn't fit anywhere in any land. It's just the Matterhorn. It doesn't exist in any other location. I was gonna go check in on the wait time, but I've got to go around. They've got ropes up getting ready for a parade again. Man, Fantasyland is the boss. Fantasyland is the boss. That goat up there, that mountain back there. Why am I saying that? Because it is a 75-minute wait. 75 minutes. That's great. Way to go, Matterhorn. How many times have I said that? How many times have you guys heard me say that? There's your Lightning Lane queue. It's not bad. That's not the worst Lightning Lane queue I've seen. It's a few people. It's some competition. But it could be worse. It's not out of the ordinary for you to see this queue run out here, fill all that space, come out the threshold, go down this corner and mix in with a single rider down there at the end of the mountain. So this is certainly not out of the, or I would say not exceptional. I'd rather there be fewer, but it's not exceptional. So that's 75 minutes. Must mean we're gonna see a whole lot of guests around the corner and on the back side of the mountain. Still going. Huh. I was expecting to see more down the mountain. That's actually less than I was expecting for a 75-minute posted wait time. Still no bargain though, even if it's less. So it's not 75. What is it? It's 55 or 60 maybe. You know, and you're still running that risk of getting in that queue, and with Lightning Lane getting worse than it is right now, because that's not, you know, that is within the realm of possibility. And Matterhorn is a tough attraction to crack. That is probably the next one I'll do in my 30 ride reconnaissance efforts. We mentioned in our Pixar, monorail's coming. We mentioned in our Pixar video that we did a Lightning Lane. We did the paid Lightning Lane on that. That was our 30th trip through. I am now in the process of collating all of that data and getting it ready for a video. I'm not sure how long it's going to take, but because I have to come up with some sort of strategy based on all that stuff. But look for that. Look for a Raider Springs Racers video, and then probably start getting to work on the Matterhorn. But what do you think? Having walked by that Matterhorn queue and looking at this now, is that crowded? Is that a lot of people? Is that a lot of people? Is this crowded? And I'm sure you guys probably can assume what I think, but I'd be curious to hear what others think. I have actually additional thoughts on that, additional commentary. But first, let's observe that Nemo is at 20 minutes, which is pretty light for this time of day, for this queue, 20 minutes. Although I think we are about to get into another parade situation. Autopia, 30 minutes. Actually, I can do this right here. I got this camera today. There's your queue up there in the risers. Fairly decent queue, sizable queue. And if my eyes do not deceive me, they're in the rotunda back there where it turns around. So you've got yourself your hands full a little bit here at Autopia. 30 minutes is probably accurate or close to it-ish. Oh, well, I guess we can't check in on Space Mountain, Hyperspace Mountain, because it has joined the list of attractions that are closed at the moment. Not a permanent condition. Well, I think it was closed earlier when we looked at the tip board, but if it weren't, it is now. So let's finally get into that. The idea that even Disney is conceding that the parks aren't as busy as they have been, even just, you know, post-COVID, and certainly not as busy as they were pre-COVID. That's something we've been observing. I intimated that Disney was feeling that pressure, and that's the reason why they began selling Magic Keys again. It's the reason why they re-upped that $50 ticket. But they're doing it not just in those kinds of actions, they're saying it out loud. And this is the first time, I think, that I have heard any executive say something like this out loud, at least post-COVID. Once again, they've been trying to maintain optimism. Bob Iger, in the last earnings call, said that they are finally, theme parks are finally starting to see post-COVID demand flatten out a little bit. No, understand that when he says that, it's not even that good. That they're still trying to paint a positive picture. They're saying it flattened out. But what they're really saying is that it's declining. That theme park attendance has declined. That they're not seeing the post-COVID, the pent-up demand they talked about a lot after COVID. And that actually waned a while back already at Walt Disney World. And Disneyland hadn't yet caught up because we opened later than they did. So you've got Iger saying that. Then you've got CFO Hugh Johnson, who replaced Christine McCarthy. She's the one, by the way, responsible for the fact that we don't get rice and beans with our enchiladas anymore. Hi, guys. Monorail, what's for it? All right. He's following up Iger's comments about how the demand is flattened. The Disney CFO is predicting that's going to continue this way throughout at least the rest of this fiscal year. So they're not only are they saying or realizing that it has been slower, they're predicting it's going to remain that way. Thus, they're trying to stimulate things with the Magic Key sales and the ticket sales for, the $50 ticket sale and the $83 ticket for adults. They could go a step further. If that doesn't work, June is going to be a huge month for Disney. June and July is going to be a huge month. I can't wait for those reports, because we're going to get to see if that worked. If we get the same reaction we got back in February and March, but they can go a step further. I'm not saying they will, because nothing that has happened, post-COVID has suggested that they would. Yes, I'm talking about the reservation system. That they would end the reservation system. But if they're looking for something to stimulate park attendance, that's a no-brainer. But for some reason, they are still dead set on maintaining that. Obviously, they've got plans, they've got strategies or, systems they're trying to test, and they don't want to be too reactionary. You don't want to say, hey, we're going to try to nuance the Magic Key reservations, try to finesse that a little bit in the hopes of selling more single-day tickets with those spots, with the idea being sell those Magic Keys but then hope they don't come in, or that they can't come in, that they don't show up. You're collecting the Magic Key revenue, but you're not feeling their presence in the parks. That's the holy grail. That's the idea behind Magic Keys. That's the gym method, the gym membership method. But now they're doing it. That method is just hoping. Disney's trying to make that happen. They're trying to make that happen by finessing the reservation schedule. I digress. That's a whole other conversation. But that would certainly stimulate attendance in the parks. It would sell more Magic Keys, and it would get more people in the parks on a regular basis. And with that, we will endeavor to wrap up Tomorrowland and wrap up this show. It's getting a little late in the afternoon here, too. Good start for Buzz Lightyear. There's nobody out here in the Lightning Lane queue. A few guests flowing in now. Posted wait time says 10 minutes. Was this attraction closed? I don't recall. No, it wasn't. When we looked at the tip board, it was not. It was at 30. And now that says 10 minutes. And all evidence to the affirmative. It's not even 10 minutes. Those folks are just jumping right into the room right there. My goodness. That has to be a breakdown. Maybe a recent one. They were able to open up quickly. We'll see. Because Astro Orbiter is not, it could be, like a parade thing. Astro Orbiter, though, is not having a parade effect. It is actually kind of busy in there. Posted at 20 minutes. It's fun getting to do Astro Orbiter updates again. 20 minutes right now, and that's about what that queue represents. That's probably 20. Yeah, that's pretty standard. Star Tours is showing 35 minutes right now. By the way, what is it? It's 4:45. No, it's 5 o'clock now. 35 minutes. So they probably picked up some of those guests from Buzz Lightyear. But it's not in the extended interior queue back there. Just out here, that's probably not 35 minutes. I like it when they don't put the guests back there. It makes it much easier to predict. This is pretty much not a lot going on there at Star Tours. I'd be shocked if that was actually 35 minutes. Probably closer to 20 or 25. Hey guys, I would love though, I'm tempted to just sit here for a minute and see what happens to this queue. That it's now 5 minutes. 5 minutes it says. If there's ever been a call to action, that's it. So what would happen if I were to just sit here for a little while and watch the crowd develop? So let's do that. Well, there you go. That was 5 minutes. It took 5 minutes to go from walking right on to getting a switchback here at least developed. It's still not a long wait. The queue went back up to 10 minutes over here. Meanwhile, while that happened in 5 minutes, it's just crazy how quickly things can change on a dime here. Star Tours is now down to 10 minutes. We saw it at 30 something and I said there's no way. It's probably 20 if that. And it wasn't even that. Well, actually, it isn't that now. But you could tell that the fact that they weren't using that rear queue and it was just a little bit out here, but they processed those guests no problem because there's nobody going on Lightning Lane right now, so that's down to 10 minutes. And certainly some of that can be attributed to the parade that's happening right now as we see Moana on her float right there. Some of that could be due to Magic Happens, but not all of it. That fresh bake brings us to our final frontier. I did a Star Trek reference. We're going to Frontierland and checking on Big Thunder. Wow. Wow. We're gonna find ourselves one empty Big Thunder, I predict, just by looking at this right there. Right there, that's a great sign. Everybody's over there watching magic happen. That was easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Board says 45 minutes. I'm sorry. There's no way. They've closed this off. There's nobody out there. 45 would be up there, alongside the train where the trains return. So that says 45. There's obviously nobody in Lightning Lane, and guests are just flowing in. I don't even know where the back of the queue is yet. This is 20. And this is definitely a factor of Magic Happens for sure. There's the back of the queue right there. So maybe not 20, maybe 30. I mean, if you didn't already know it yet, you should know that by now. If you're looking to maximize your time at the parks, you're looking for a chance to get some discounts on some wait times. hit some attractions while the parade is happening. You have a small window. It's not like a long time. It's maybe 45 minutes to an hour where that's a possibility. And then those gaps close up. That parade will pass by and those crowds will immediately start filling in queues. So, pick your poison. That's when you want to try to do a ride like Rise of the Resistance, in my opinion, or Big Thunder, like this one here, Matterhorn, might have been a good idea. Although don't be late, as we talked about before, don't be late on the Matterhorn, because you're gonna wait 75 minutes if you are. Things seem pretty peaceful out here too, on the rivers of America, the edge of New Orleans Square, as we wrap this show. And I feel like we can safely say that things are what they are. We kind of asked that question last week with the State of DCA that continued in today, and I feel like it's just more the same. It's just, the park is just not there yet. We're not there, and it doesn't look like it's going to get there. But before I even get into that, before I even make that assumption, I don't expect this to last, because we do have that sale coming up. And if last February and last March are any indication about what that will do to crowds, woe be us in June. But that's a common prediction. Hey, wait till June, wait till July, everything's gonna be nuts. We'll see. I'm really curious. I can't wait to shoot these reports in June and July to see how realistic that is. In the meantime, we get to enjoy a quietish park these days. And it's gonna be like this for probably another 2 or 3 weeks at least. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show today, our State of Disneyland report. If you did, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/freshbaked, and then follow us on Instagram at _freshbaked, on Twitter at freshbakedisney, that's freshbaked, and on TikTok at freshbakedisney. Thanks for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh Baked.